Hello? Allie? Are you there?
Yo.
Welcome back to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of books by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. My name's Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I have read a fraction of the series.
Almost half.
7/15 of the series.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
coming
math.
up on half.
We mathed. I'm still dealing with a little COVID brain. I'm a couple IQ points short.
I think
of
you're
my
on top of the
regular
world.
Functionality.
This podcast only contains spoilers for what Allie's already read. And again, haven't said what it is yet, but today that's everything up to and including the end of the prologue of A Crown of Swords. Allie.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed recording time. And we had a busy week and now we're here. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well, other than the IQ points.
That's fair.
Which I'm starting to get worried were never there in the first place.
No, I think...
Or are elusive to me forever.
I think this is psychosomatic.
I think you're psychosomatic.
Perhaps I am.
That's scary.
Imagine if you just released hours of footage of you talking and listening to no one.
That tracks.
And everyone just went along with it.
that tracks.
Allie.
Yeah.
We have some people to thank.
Mm-hmm.
We have some patrons. Some of these are from fully a month ago. Thanks for your patience, everybody who waited a month for this. And some are from literally today.
What?
Allie, new patrons, first things first. Thanks for the cup of coffee, Alaise.
Alaise. Just like a magnificent lazy boy. Mm-hmm. You are comfortable in every environment that you enter into. You really tie a room together in that you are striking visually and also incredibly practical. And you are beloved by fathers everywhere, near and far. You just attract father figures to you, just like Randall Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being part of this podcast.
Thanks for the cup of coffee, Corey L.
Corey L., just like a careful bok choy. You are exotic in that you are unexpected and interesting and keep us on our toes. But you are also healthy in that you keep us fit and sated and happy in all of our interactions with you. And you are also versatile in that you are able to complement any environment that you're in, any person that you're with. And for that, we thank you. And thank you for being part of this podcast.
Thanks for the pint, Tari Sadai.
Tari Sadai, just like a shining field mouse. You are adorable. You are resourceful in that field mice really have to be resourceful in order to survive. You are cozy in that like field mice, don't they burrow? I feel
Probably.
like yes. And I always picture burrowing animals to be like the coziest animals. And you are also quick, both intellectually and physically. And for that, we thank you. And thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
Tari Sadai is half of the duo, mother-daughter duo, that is making those trading cards.
Yes!
On Twitter, the Wheel of Time trading cards.
Yes! Okay, I was wondering. I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. They're super cool.
I love those. Please, everyone, go check those out.
We've been retweeting them whenever the new ones come out. Check them out. They're super fun. Thanks for the high five, Anna R. It might be Anna R. I'm not sure. Anna or Anna R.
Just like a luscious shark. You are sharp in that you are intellectually very intelligent. You are misunderstood in a way where once we really get to know you, we get to really see how wonderful you truly are. But it's one of those things where then it becomes a real pleasure to get to know you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not that the first impression of you is bad, but people, once they take the time to really get to know you, get to really see how wonderful you truly are. You are deep in that you go to the depths of not only yourself, but other people around you, and you bring out the depth in others. And that is a wonderful quality to have. And for that, we thank you, and thank you for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the high five, Sarah M.
Sarah M., just like a malleable road. You guide people to where they need to be. You are smooth in that, I bet you've got a really great, but sincere pickup line that you could use at any given time. You're really just good at getting people to talk to you. You're easy and open. And you are also safety conscious. You're always making sure that people feel and are physically safe. And that's such a wonderful, secure quality to have. And for that, we thank you. And thank you for being part of this community.
Thanks for the high five, Heather.
Heather, just like a hopeful cup of cottage cheese. You are inviting in that, I some people don't like cottage cheese. I really freaking do.
It's good.
It's one of the few things of that consistency that I can tolerate. It's a texture thing.
Yeah.
But you are inviting in that, whenever someone's like, hey, you want some cottage cheese? I always go, yeah. It's not a choice that it's not something that I would expect someone to offer me, but I'm always pretty delighted when it's offered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that way, you're also delightful. You are bumpy. Not as a person. Not as a person. But, here's the thing. Life is full of bumps in the road, all right? And you weather those storms incredibly well. You don't fight the bumpiness. You embrace the bumpiness. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being part of this community.
Thanks.
That was good.
I like it. Thanks for the pint, Spencer M.
Spencer M., just like a superior superior cheetah. Cheetah? No, we've done cheetah.
I don't know. Maybe?
We've done cheetah. I know we have. We just like a superior ant. Have we done ant? I don't think we have.
No.
You are one of those heavy lifters. You're not afraid to do the hard work, getting down into the nitty gritty, into the grime and the dirt, and do what you need to do to not only uplift yourself, but to uplift other people. You are someone who works collaboratively with others. You are also someone who thinks about the whole. You're not someone who is selfish. You are very giving and caring and think about other people before yourself. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being part of this community.
Thanks for the cup of coffee, Coco B.
Coco B.
What a name.
Coco B. You are just like a ravishing pill bug. I love a good little pill bug. I call them roly-polies. What do you call them usually?
Roly-polies.
Roly-polies. Yeah, so just like a ravishing roly-poly, you are protected and protective of yourself and others. Those little roly-polies, how they roll into a little ball.
Yeah, when you touch them and they go zoop.
Okay, so now I'm thinking about the fact that we used to capture roly-polies, and one of them had a ton of babies in our thing, and then we had a bunch of roly-poly babies. Yeah.
Don't they lay eggs?
I'm just telling you that we had roly-poly babies. So you are someone who multiplies good things. You have a good thing in front of you and you multiply it quite quickly. Right. You are delightful to all people. I don't know very many people who don't like think of a roly-poly and go, oh.
Not many.
Harmless,
no, they're cool.
Harmless, cool
Little bugs.
Whenever I see one on the street, I'm always like, oh, there they are. I love you. Mm-hmm. And for that, we thank you, and thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the pint, Ashley A.
Ashley A?
Ashley A.
Okay, Ashley A. Just like an adventurous lollipop. You are sweet, of course. You are someone that takes some time to, show who you are. There's a lot to unwrap there.
Yeah.
But once you do, you bring so much joy and fulfillment to so many people. You're also maybe a little hard on the outside, because the world is hard and you need to be tough, you need to be strong, but you're such a sweet softie on the inside. And, you've got that ooey gooey center that invites people in, that cares for others, that really, gives us a place to feel warm and safe and comforted. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the pint, Dan B.
Dan B, just like a bouncing duck. You are athletic in that ducks swim pretty much all the time and are really quite a force to behold when it comes to nature. You are loving in that, those little ducklings, how they immediately imprint on their moms.
Yeah.
And then they just follow them around or whatever the first thing is that they see. You're like that. You were so open with your love and joy and you know how the mom ducklings, the little ducklings get stuck in the grate? The moms won't leave. And that's loving.
I've seen that, yeah.
It's so sweet. And then the fire department comes and saves
It's really
them.
cute, yeah.
Oh, so cute. And like that, you are also so cute. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the cup of coffee, Shannon N.
Shannon N. Just like a nice pancake. You are nourishing. You really always take the time to listen to people, to sit with people and their feelings. And, you're positive, just like a pancake is reminiscent of positive childhood memories, but not in a toxic way, in a way that, that the sun is coming out tomorrow, that there will be pancakes in the morning. Mm-hmm. And, that there's always something to push forward to. And you're also just a symbol of care. I mean, I feel like everyone grew up. I mean, so many people with loving parents grew up with parents that made them pancakes in the morning when they had their friends over on the weekends. And that's and you're just cherished in that way, Shannon. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
And last but not least, thanks for the pint, Jason K.
Jason K, just like a jaunty sandcastle. You are innovation itself. You are well structured as well. You've got cheekbones and a jaw for days, Jason. They could cut glass. You're just a good looking fella. You are also very careful, right? You can't just go running by a sandcastle. But you're also kind of ephemeral in that, we know that the time that we have with you is precious. Mm-hmm. And you make that very clear in how purposeful you are when you are spending time with people. And so we're always really present and invested in the time that we spend with you. And you give us that same courtesy in return. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
And we're finally caught up.
Woohoo!
You folks are too generous.
Okay, I swear to God, patron letters are coming soon if you haven't gotten them.
The podcast is free, but you're all very kind. And thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And now
We're working on a lot of patron letters this weekend, and we appreciate you all for your patience.
We're just, we're a mess. It's fine.
They're coming. This is my goal. We're going to finish them this weekend.
Great goal. We've got the rest of a prologue to do. That's 35. That's plenty. Allie.
Yeah.
Where did we leave off?
Elida being a dumbass.
Being a pain in the butt.
She's just an absolute dumb fuck.
She is so annoying, and it's great.
It's so great.
Hubris clock.
Oh my God.
And all.
I'm just so embarrassed for her. Again, I've said this so many times, but I'm so embarrassed for her because they just know it's not going to work out for her. And so every time she double, triple, quadruples down on how great she is and how great her plans are, I just want to hide my head in shame.
Or gratuitously misreads a viewing.
I think because
foretelling.
I am a person who thinks about things so... I'm just always assume that I'm wrong. Always. And I just always assume I'm a fuck up. So and there's a lot to unpack there about why. But, it fascinates me people who can be so vocally wrong with such confidence. Because if I could just have a little bit of that audacity and a little bit of that, like, just pure confidence... I feel like I'd be too powerful, though. I'd be too powerful. I'm not allowed to have it.
We come to Sevanna POV. Speaking of people who are just a joy to spend time with.
The confidence. I just don't have the kind of confidence that it takes to wear an ungodly amount of jewelry in the apocalypse.
With 80% of your breasts out.
Well, I don't have that kind of confidence.
The Aiel, standing in a deep fold in the low brown grass hills, seemed carved figures, ignoring sheets of dust sweeping ahead of a gusting wind. That snow should have been deep on the ground this time of year did not bother them. None had ever seen snow, and this oven heat, with the sun still well short of its peak, was less than where they came from. So Savannah's like, she's there, she's having a great time. She's excited. What's she planning on doing today?
Breasting boobily,
and then capturing Randall Thor.
That's also not going to work out.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a repeat beat. She could capture Fael, though. Maybe it'd be like one of those things where they think they can trade hostages or something.
She also waited, and more impatiently than she let on, but not to the exclusion of everything else. That was one reason why she commanded and the rest followed. The second was that she saw what could be if you refused to let outworn custom and stale tradition tie your hands.
Okay, I mean, she's not 100% wrong there.
Yeah, but like the tradition she's throwing away is like don't take Wetlanders Gawyn and stuff. Yeah, and don't be the fucking worst.
But we're always here for breasting boobily.
She's got a handful of maidens with her. A lot of the maidens that were Shido have gone to Rand, predictably.
Well, that makes sense. Melindra included.
Yeah. Evelyn is the one who's kind of hanging out with her the most. That's a name.
Evelyn.
There's also Merrick and Benduin.
So just Evelyn, but with an F?
Yeah. Gold and ivory bracelets clattered softly as she straightened the dark shawl over her arms and adjusted her necklaces. Most of those were gold and ivory, too, but one was a mass of pearls and rubies that had belonged to a Wetlander noblewoman. The woman now wore white, and hauled and fetched alongside the other Gawyn back in the mountains called Kinslayer's Dagger, with a ruby the size of a small hen's egg nestled between her breasts.
Well, I hope it is.
So she loves jewelry. This is her new favorite thing.
Who doesn't?
Savannah's thinking about how she's planning on just going to Roydian herself, or just like being clan chief herself.
I don't think that's allowed.
Yeah, but she doesn't give a fuck.
I'm kind of here for it. Break that glass ceiling.
Columns?
Break that glass column.
Once Randall Thor was in her hands, once she had wed the Karakarn, the chief of chiefs of all the Aiel,
the chief.
Nonsense of the Dragon Reborn was Wetlander foolishness. There would be a new way of naming clan chiefs, and sept chiefs as well. Perhaps even the heads of warrior societies. Randall Thor would name them, pointing where she told him, of course. And
well, of course.
And that would be only the beginning. The Wetlander notion of handing down rank to your children, and their children, for instance. So now we're getting into... Sevanna really likes the idea of hereditary inherited titles, which...
It's no longer a meritocracy.
What's no longer a can you not tear your own eyes out ocracy.
Can you not tear your own eyes out ocracy?
I mean, Mirrodin sure had a bad time.
An optocracy?
Optocracy! It's not an optocracy anymore.
We're opting out of the optocracy.
Oh my god. What is this section? In 10 words or less. This whole Sevanna thing. What are we here for?
Plotting.
And?
But we all know she's incorrect.
Okay, well, but what happens?
Oh.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing?
That we saw last book.
The box?
It's Demise Wells from
their
perspective.
Yeah. She describes what happens.
Yeah.
It's all very similar to what we heard, but just from a different viewpoint.
Yeah. It's like, oh look, horror. A young Sevanna appeared above them, lowering his veil as he scrambled down. He came straight to her, as was proper, but to her irritation, he raised his voice enough for all to hear. One of their forward scouts escaped. He was wounded, but still on his horse. And Sevanna's like, well, I don't know how fighting works, but you know what we're gonna do? Throw every last spear against them, before they can ready themselves. And Benduin is like, okay, you said I'm assuming you mean all of them except the rear guard. Because we should have a rear guard.
And she goes, no, all of them. And then he goes, a rear guard. And she goes, oh, yeah, that is what I meant. Right?
No.
She says no rear guard. Oh, yeah, she says no rear guard. She's not
exactly good at this.
We have a lot of women in positions of power who suck at it.
That's true.
Anyway.
Admittedly, we are thinking of women in positions of power who have, for all intents and purposes, been set up for those positions of power by evil doers.
As opposed to, they didn't pluck their own eyes out.
Well, I mean, but we also have like a Gawyn.
No, are you saying we also have women in positions of power who don't suck? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying a lot of the women who are in positions of power who suck were elevated to or set up for those positions of power by Dark Friends and Forsaken.
I don't think that a Gawyn sucks.
I know. I'm saying a lot of the women who suck in their positions of power were put there by bad guys.
Then why did you use a Gawyn as an example?
Because I was like, and then we also have good ones.
Oh, that was not clear to me.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, there are also plenty of women in positions of power who are good at their jobs, like Amis.
She is good.
She's good at her job. Shiriam the Dark Friend seems good at her job.
Okay. So Benduin goes,
the triple agent Dark Friend.
Every spear? You mean except for the screens? And Merrick goes, if we keep no reserve, we can be... And she goes, every spear? These are Aes Sedai evidence with. We must overwhelm them immediately. And they're all like, don't remind us of that. We hate that. She goes, I speak as the clan chief of the Shido. They are a handful. They can be run down if the spheres move quickly. You are ready to avenge Desane this sunrise. Do I smell fear now? Fear of a few wetlanders? Has honor gone from the Shido? And they're like, well, fuck you. Holy shit. And then all of them charge off, including her honor guard of maidens. And she's like, wait, what the oh, god damn it.
You said every spear.
Yeah.
So here's my thing.
Yeah.
So she's just Elida with a different flavor.
Yeah.
She's just new Coke.
Yeah. She's Desert Elida.
Delighted.
And it's more, there's more to it than that.
No, there's nothing more to it than that. Fight us. No, there's no nuance here. Not in this podcast. That's why our podcasts are 15 minutes long. No nuance to be had. I'm the supreme overlord of the podcast. What I say goes. Now I've become a Lyda and Sevanna podcast flavored.
So she checks in with the wise ones, and they start, she gives them a pep talk, but like all of them, I think almost all of them are in on the whole Desane thing, so it's kind of...
I seem to recall them ripping her limb from limb.
They did, yeah.
Which, they couldn't do that, they couldn't just kill her real fast and then rip her apart after the fact.
No, it had to be
I'm just
clear.
putting this out there. That would have been a much kinder way to go.
Well, I think they probably tore her head off first.
No, she said her screams lasted a while.
Oh, well, that's shitty. That's kind of shitty, Sevanna. You're kind of shitty.
And then she went, I didn't know you could tear a body apart so, many times. It was a whole thing.
So they run down to to Demise Wells, and she's pissed off because they have circled the wagons. The wagons have circled, they've got a defensive formation. She's pissed off. She keeps pretending that she knows how to channel, but of course she can't. She's like, oh, look at what they're doing. I can totally see what they're doing. You can too. Look at what they're doing, because I can see it. And it's like, we all fucking know you can't. So why are you... She does this shit where she keeps up facades in front of people. Like, you remember I love this Survivor player, but you remember in a season of Survivor called Gawyn, where there's a player who lies about being... a police officer. He tells everyone he's a construction worker, and then late in the season he reveals to everyone that he's actually a cop, and then he goes to tribal council that night and again starts claiming he's a construction worker even though every single person there knows he's a cop.
Yes.
That's what Sevanna's doing right now.
It's a legendary moment.
It's great. That's one of the best seasons of Survivor. American Survivor, by the way. I think it's season 28. Nope. Yes. Season 28. Gawyn. It's very good. Anyway.
Any Hoosers.
The wise ones are just like, whatever. We can kind of... Do you want to sit in much of this for long? Because I feel like a lot of it is interesting, but it's just Demise Wells, but different.
I think I have said everything I need to say about Demise Wells.
Okay.
If you would like to read it, I will certainly sit back and enjoy the story.
Fireballs.
Well, enjoy in this particular instance is the wrong word, but...
It's stressful.
I will experience the story. And of course, you are an excellent reader, so you are very welcome. I very much like when you read to me. That's what I've learned about doing this podcast. I like when you read to me. I
mean, we get the gist of this. Savannah's cocky. She thinks everything's going well. The wolves attack.
She wants Rand's cocky.
She wants Rand's dick. Yeah, she does. At some point, I don't know if it's in this book or in book 6, she thinks about all the children she'll get from him or something.
Ew, we don't want to hear about your baby batter.
Yeah, so Demise Wells happens. I'm just going to skip ahead a few pages because we know what happens here. She stabs a maiden who's running away, and the wise ones are like, no, we need to fucking run away. This is bad. We're out of here. And then she
if I were that maiden, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Did you just stab me?
Did you stab me?
So then she pulls the little box out of her, I assume, cleavage pocket. I don't keep a lot of stuff in between the boobies, but I know every woman has done so. You have some cat, you're going to the club, you don't want to bring a purse. Yeah. You put your chapstick in there?
You put your chapstick, you put your ID, you put your money. It's a pocket.
Sure.
We have to improvise. Our stuff does not come with pockets.
No, that's true.
And you don't want to bring a purse because you don't want to carry a purse all night. Plus, people could steal stuff.
That's true.
Versus, it's much harder to steal stuff from between the cleave.
She felt her belt pouch where a small cube of intricately carved stone lay. Well that she had hesitated over throwing that away. She had another cord for her bow yet. Gathering her skirts to bare her legs, she joined in the chaotic flight. But if all the rest fled in terror, she ran with plans whirling through her head. She would have Rand al'Thor on his knees before her. and the Aes Sedai as well.
Here's the thing. If we're hyping this box up and I have to wait another book or 7 for anything to happen with this box, I will sue Robert Jordan's estate.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think this box? If it's not a stasis box that was going to do all this shit,
it's a stasis box. We're doubling down, tripling down. Elida Sevanna podcast.
Well, it's like the size of my cell phone, but cubey, but smaller.
Okay, so it's small.
Yeah,
it's a phone.
No, I didn't say it was a phone. I said it's about the size of a phone. Probably like the size of a can, like that LaCroix can.
Okay, so it's the phone size. What the fuck could you what the fuck is this size? You put your foot in it? It's a foot bath.
It's a foot bath.
It is a sleep mask. It is a jewelry. It's a box for all of her jewelry.
There you go. It's just a jewelry box.
It's just a jewelry box.
It's from a
Somebody
lover.
said it looks like you're starting to stoop from all of the weight of all of your jewels. You need a place to put your jewels. Here is this jewelry box. I'm just a strange, creepy man in the woods, but I worry about posture.
So this thing's going to have to be, for how many times it's been mentioned, this thing is going to have to be pivotal.
If it isn't, I will sue Robert Jordan's estate.
What if it's just like a prank?
No,
what if they hit the button and nothing happens?
Have I ever used the phrase we're into a dead life? Is what we used to say to each other.
I do know that phrase, yes.
It's like when you get someone excited about something, like you're like, let's go get tacos. And someone's like, oh, I love tacos. And then you're like, never mind, it's too far.
Cruel.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's called a dead life. You have murdered their whole life. That would be the dead life of this series if that happened.
If this is just like a wet fart.
They did this to me, it would be the dead life of the series.
What is your current theory for? Is it that it's the jewelry box?
No, that's not the real theory.
I know. I just had to clarify.
I think it's going to get used to this book. Hence why it's in my bingo card.
Yes.
I mean, is it a phone?
No, I didn't say it was a phone. I said it was about the same size as a phone.
But is it a phone?
I said it's about the same.
But is it a phone?
How would that work? Like a magic phone?
Just go, beep, beep, beep. Slayer, come get Randy's ass.
It's a call box?
It's a phone booth. It's a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside.
I love it. So it is a stasis box.
So it is it's a stasis box. It goes all the way to the stasis box.
We switched to Alviar, and how's she doing? Bad. Why is she stressed? This is very specific.
She's going to go see Mesaana.
Well, she doesn't know that.
She's stressed because of Elida.
Yeah, she's worried that Elida's...
They're going to attack the Black Tower.
She's also worried that Elida's foretellings are going to reveal her.
Well, that would be a concern.
That is a valid
So then she's
concern.
starting to think about, should I kill Elida?
As she went lower, sisters began to appear, many wearing their shawls, fringed in the colors of their ajas, as if to emphasize by formality that they were full sisters. They eyed her as she passed, uneasy, often as not.
See, they do color coordinate.
The only one to ignore her was Danelle, a dreamy brown sister.
Why point her out?
She had been part of bringing down Swan Sanche and raising Elida.
Yes,
but
she had.
Lost in her own thoughts, a solitary with no friends, even in her own Aja, she seemed unaware that she had been shoved aside. Others were all too aware. Varisha, a lean and hard-eyed grey, and Kira, with the fair hair and blue eyes that appeared occasionally among Tyrans, and all the arrogance so common to Greens, went so far as to curtsy. Norina made as if to, then did not. Big-eyed and nearly as dreamy as Danelle at times, and as friendless, she resented Alviarin. Thoughts on any of that? You screamed when I said Danelle doesn't have any friends?
She hasn't had time to make any.
Danelle's been around for a long time.
Not this version.
Okay.
Fake Danelle.
Okay.
Marcel.
Well, I suppose if she were Mesaana, then not having any friends would make it easier.
Yes.
Right? Because she doesn't have to keep up any...
She doesn't have to keep up appearances.
Because that was the whole thing, too, with Halima and Cabriana Macandes. She had to figure out exactly who Cabriana Macandes was friends with so she could kind of pretend she knew about them.
Yes. And so if you pick someone friendless, like a distracted-ass Brown, and you're a teacher so you can pose as an academic.
Sure.
And also, the Browns have access to thousands of years of research and all the terror on Grial they want. They have all of the excuse to access it because you can just say, I was poking at it.
That's fair. That's true.
No one's going to be like, why are you in this dusty, musty-ass library?
It's an interesting theory.
It's the only theory I have. It's the only clue. And not only that, every time Danelle is in any scene, they make a point to talk about her.
Well, they do that with... It's Robert Jordan. Admittedly, Robert Jordan does that with every single character.
But not to the same extent. We've gone full into, like, let's remind ourselves who Danelle is.
Yeah,
we didn't do that with
for a while
Skinny.
or too short or too tall.
Whatever
big
dumb
teeth or whatever all of her shit was.
You can do it with Skinny. It's the only one I really remember because you went, Skinny!
So, Aviarin ignores everybody. She's stressed out because of Elida.
For those of you who don't know, Gus as Elida just labeled all of the rest of the
That's
sitters.
In our Book 5 prologue episode.
It was fucking funny.
It's based off what Elida thinks in the prologue.
Skinny. Fat.
Too tall. Tooth. Oh, hair girl over there.
Dumb.
So she's worried about the whole foretelling thing. It might be necessary to kill her yet. If so, Elida would not be the first she'd killed in secret. Still, she hesitated to take that step without orders.
I love how she's thinking about it killing Elida like I would think about what to get at the grocery store.
It's Black Aja, baby.
You're like, should I kill her? Do we need milk? I just don't know.
She heads into her rooms. They're Domani furnished rooms. Tapestries of forest and flowers and grazing deer. They belonged to the last occupant of these rooms, which was whom?
Liana
Sharif.
So she just hasn't upgraded?
No.
She's just like, this'll do. None of these personal effects are mine. But whatevs. I won't even change the sheets.
The light suddenly faded into dim evening. The darkness did not surprise her. She turned and went to her knees immediately. Great mistress, I live to serve. A tall woman of dark shadow and silver light stood before her. Mesaana. Tell me what happened, child. The voice was crystal chimes.
Danello? Nope, that was dumb.
On her knees, Alviarin repeated every word that Elida had said.
To say hello and Danello.
Danello.
Like do a little portmanteau, but it did not
That's
work
adorable.
out.
In the beginning, she'd left out unimportant bits, and Mesaana knew every time, demanded every word, every gesture, and facial expression. Plainly, she eavesdropped on those meetings. Alviarin had tried to work out the logic of it and failed. Some things did work to logic. So then she's like, she must be in disguise in the tower, and Ellie is like, she's Danelle!
She is fucking in disguise in the tower. Her name is Danelle. We already know this.
She has also met with... Which other Forsaken has she met with?
Robin, right?
No.
Ishamael.
Maybe?
Semirog.
Lanfear, Grendel, and Baelol.
So everyone I did not
And Ishamael.
Okay, so almost everyone I did not say.
Ishamael's the one who put her in charge of the Black Aja.
Yes, that I remember. And then when they were doing the great purging of magic men.
Yeah.
With the, what did they call it? The Happening?
The Vileness.
The Vileness. Not The Happening. That's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. In which the trees kill people. But,
so it's just... you're saying it's just the end of Eye of the World?
Yeah.
Remember when Semeshta stepped on...
All right, so really what Rafe should have done was just hire M. Night Shyamalan to
He should have just put a
direct
screening of the happening.
The end of that season. Just a screening of the happening. Just reuse the shots.
Remember when Agenor and Balthamel just show up at the end of the book and then immediately die?
Yes.
It's great times,
They just get completely bodied. And now they're back from outer space. I will survive. Anyway, so what were we talking about? Oh, it's Janelle. Period. Done.
Okay.
Thank you.
So our Elida has had a foretelling, Mesaana chimed. Strange that she should be so clear and so erratic at the same time.
That's what I'm saying.
It was always a rare talent, and most who had it spoke so only poets could understand, usually until it was too late to matter.
Poets or Allie.
Everything
Wheel takes
always
podcast.
Became clear then. Interesting predictions, the rebels breaking... Like a rotten melon? Was that part of it? And Aaron's like, I may have embellished. I don't know. I'm also really nervous about the whole, like, her going like, oh, I'll be Aaron is a dark friend. Oh, that came out of my mouth.
Well, that is a concern.
And Mesaana's like, oh, boo, whoa, baby. You want to kill her, she says? She's like, nah, let's hold on to that. We gotta wait until Rand gets here. He's on his way, you know.
I'm embarrassed for so many people in these books. Oh my god.
Write out her orders and see to them. Watching her play her little games is certainly amusing. You children almost match the Aja at times. Will she succeed in having the king of Ilion and the queen of Saldea captured?
No.
You Aes Sedai used to do that, didn't you? But not for, 2,000 years?
Well, because I imagine it doesn't make you particularly popular.
No. Well, but that is... We couldn't remember when we did the first part when she said this.
I was listening to it today and I went, I bet it's later when she talks to Mesaana that they mention it.
Yeah. And, so she wants to kidnap Tenobia and Matt and Stepanios.
It's not going to happen because both of them are in the hands of the Forsaken.
You think? Okay.
I know. Gus, please don't patronize me. I know what I'm about. Sit down.
Who will she try to put on the throne of Kyrian? Will the offer of being king in Tyr overcome the High Lord Darlin's dislike of Aes Sedai? Will our Elida choke on her own frustration first? A pity she resents the idea of a larger army. I'd have thought her ambitions would leap at that. And then Alviarin's like, hey, it sounds like you're on your way out. Real quick, about this, invading and attacking all the magic men thing.
Mesaana's like, do it. Who cares?
Like, I don't give a fuck. But before that, we get a little backstory. Ishamael killed her predecessor in his wrath at discovering what Jar Nimalari had begun, which was the vileness. Yet it had not ended for another 2 years after the death of another Amerlin. She often wondered whether Elida had had any hand in the death of that one. Sirin Vayu. Certainly the Black Aja had not. Jarna had had Tamra Osprenya, the Amerlin before Sirin, squeezed like a bunch of grapes, obtaining little juice, as it turned out.
Oh, was that the one in New Spring?
Yes. And appeared...
And Sirin was the dick one.
She was the weird,
from the Red Aja.
Like, whip yourself if you think about boobs... fun is illegal.
Don't threaten me with a good time. What? No.
And made her appear to have died in her sleep. But Alviarin and the other 12 sisters of the Great Council.
And I wasn't suspicious at all. Right after the Tara Moroso gives her final prediction, then someone comes out and goes, the Amerlin mysteriously died.
She died. Well, then again,
Don't
nobody
look at
knew.
Me, though.
Nobody knew about it. Chesmal. It was Chesmal. Came out and was like, oh,
sure
no.
Chesmal?
It was Chesmal.
Oh. Robert Jordan would just give us one we already knew was bad. Mm-hmm. The wily minx.
So yeah, Mesaana's like, I don't give a fuck about the whole black... Whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Okay, good. Don't give a shit.
And then Mesaana goes,
Do you not give a shit because you know Damon Dread's got it in his pocket?
If you would serve me, child, then you must serve and obey me. Not Semirag or Damon Dread, not Grendel or anyone else, only me. And the Great Lord, of course. But me, above all, save him. And she's like, yeah? Yeah? Are you guys not, like, are you not, like, okay,
No,
yeah?
they're not friends. There's this thing called Nameless.
And then Mesaana's like, good talk. So we're on the same team. I'm going to teach you how to teleport.
Ooh. Oh, no, that's bad.
And then we switch to Pedron.
Wait, that's bad. Bad.
We switch to Petty. How's Petty?
Daddy.
About to die. Pedron Niall grunted as Morgaze placed a white stone on the board with a smile of triumph. Lesser players might set 24 more stones each yet, but he could see the inevitable course now, and so could she. In the beginning, the golden-haired woman seated on the other side of the small table had played to lose, to make the game close enough to be interesting for him, but it had not taken her long to learn that led to obliteration. Now she plied all her skill and managed to win nearly half their games. So, things are going well for Morgaze.
So initially she was like, well, this guy's going to be an idiot at stones, so I'm going to, like,
I'm
take
going to
it
dumb
easy
myself
on him.
down.
And then he would, like, beat her, and now she's like, fuck it, I'm going to go all in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things are going well for Morgaze. That's too bad. She hardly appeared old enough to have a daughter Elaine's age, though, much less a son Gawyn.
Let women age.
I know, wouldn't it be great? So, blah, 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 da, 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 da. He thinks about how she's pretty, and da, 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 da. Had he been even 20 years younger, blah, 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 blah.
Had
blah,
he been
blah,
even...
blah.
Don't finish that sentence. Thanks.
Had he been 20 years younger, well, 25, and she not trained by the Tarvalin witches, it was easy to forget that in her. So, blah, 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 da, 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 I don't care about this.
I don't love that he's kind of like, you know, having those thoughts about a woman that's he's captured.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
She's kind of sucking up to him a little bit on purpose, I think.
So?
I'm not
She's a captive. There's a power dynamic.
You can't see me, folks at home. The heel of my hand is just massaging my forehead. She goes like, hey, here's a thought.
Stress is intensified.
Here's a thought. Call up my stepson. Would love to see the man. What do you think? Bring him home for a day or two. And he's like...
And then she just goes, this is who you hang with? These fucks? Really?
Yeah.
Stepson?
He goes, I'm not going to do that. She's like, all right, okay, well...
I just raised you after your derelict attempted murder father got axed for you to do this bullshit.
As you say, my Lord Niall, she said, so meekly that he nearly choked on his wine. Submissiveness was a new tactic, one she must have worked up with difficulty. It is just a mother's... My Lord Captain Commander! A deep, resonant voice broke in from the doorway.
Jesus.
I fear I have important news that cannot wait, my lord. I know he wasn't a Jowl King before, but I've decided that Omerina kind of has to deal with
it. It fits.
How's Omerina doing?
He's stressing.
He's so fucking...
You know, here's the thing. I honestly just would have been offended if I were Pedron Niall. Like... Stab me if you must, but at least send someone competent to stab me.
And he falls for it, and when you hear it back, it's so obvious.
It's so obvious.
Because Pedron Niall is just so in his own fucking head here. It's such a bummer.
Well, I felt like it was pretty obvious what was about to go down for a while.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, dude, Pedron, open your eyes, man. Now's the time for a white cloak skizzy.
So he has Morgaze leave, and they're gonna have dinner later, and that's great. And he's
they're definitely not. This is what you never make plans. I never make plans. I just show up and hope for the best.
I have not yet found the Lane or Gawyn, my lord. And he's like, "You fucking interrupted my Stones game for that."
No, I interrupted your Stones game to stab you. I put it in your calendar, 3 p.m.
Get stabbed.
Stab Peg.
Balwer reported Morghase's daughter in Abu Dar, still mired to her neck with the witches.
Just at least dye your hair,
Orders
girl.
Orders concerning her had already been sent to Jakim Caradin.
Oh my god.
Her other son still toiled with the witches as well, it seemed, in Tar Valon, where even Balwer possessed few eyes and ears. Niall drinks some wine, and Omerta goes,
No, my lord.
and he gives him the bone cylinder, goes,
You wanted this brought as soon as the pigeon arrived,
and then Niall's like, you dumb fuck. You give me the fucking, god damn you. And he's excited to read the letter, and he cracks it open, and meanwhile, Omerta's going,
I have confirmation that the White Tower truly has broken. The Black Adja has seized Tar Valon.
I'm like,
I mean, that's definitely true.
why are you nervous, buddy?
Why are you freaking out?
Why are you nervous? Why is he nervous?
He's about to stab Pedron.
Niall ignored him and broke the wax, sealing the tube.
Don't
with his
ignore
thumbnail.
him. Look what's in his hand. He's got a little knife to stab.
And there are reports that the witches are conferring with the false dragon Althor. My lord.
And he's like, oh my god, dude, shut up. You're so fucking stupid. Just shut the fuck up. Shut up. And he just completely ignores him. And
Maybe that's why he's going to stab you.
he pulls the tube, he pulls the letter out, and he opens it up, and he's very excited. His hands trembled as they unrolled the thin paper. His hands had not trembled since he was a boy, facing his first battle, more than 70 years ago. The writing was not that...
70 years ago? How old is this guy?
The writing was not that of Varadin, but of Faizar.
It's not even worth killing him.
Sent to Terabon
He's gonna die tomorrow.
for a different purpose.
70 years? Is he 95?
Niall's stomach twisted into a knot as he read. It was in clear language, not Varadin's cipher. Varadin's reports had
Was
been
he
the
a
work...
child soldier? How old is this man? Just let a strong breeze come.
Var-
Wait, wasn't he just thinking if I were only 20 years younger, I could be with Morgan? So what, 70?
Varadin's reports had been the work of a
How
man...
old is Morgan? He's like 35, like 40? 45.
Yeah, 45
if Elaine is 18, right?
Elaine's
Gawyn's
18,
what,
Gawyn's
like
20.
So she's probably like
She's probably like
40, 45.
45 at the outside. She's prime cougar age, remember?
Yeah, she's prime cougar
so
age.
she's 42.
She's 42.
We looked this up.
Is that prime cougar age?
I remember it because we made the joke that 42 was prime cougar age, and I associated those two. Might have been 43. Fuck. Hold on, let me see how old she is.
See, the jokes work from memory.
Jokes work.
The jokes work.
42, 43.
42 or 43?
Yeah.
Prime cougar age. Okay, so... It was like, if I were just 70 and could still get it up.
I'm guessing over 70. I'm guessing his first battle he was like 16. So he's probably like 80. Fuck, let me look it up.
86. He'd be 86.
Yeah. So he's thinking like if I were only about 60.
If I were 20 years older than her, we could totally make this work. Pedron. I know that there's
He's 89.
so just wait for a strong breeze. You don't even have to stab this guy. Just cough on him.
By the way, to be clear, you can be spry at 89. It's hard to be spry in like a pre-industrial world when you're 89.
When we're going, let's rub some rosemary on it and hope for the best. Are we making you into a rotisserie chicken, or are we healing your wounds?
I know they have
Who
magic
knows?
healing, but he's not exactly going to accept
He's not going to use that. His teeth are probably falling out. Oh my god, he's ancient. He's 1,000. Oh my god.
Varadin's
89 isn't the new anything.
Varadin's reports had been the work of a man on the brink of madness, if not over. Yet Faizar confirmed the worst of it and more. Much more.
I want to meet the person who's 89 who's like, oh yeah, it's the new 30.
Althor was a rabid beast, a destroyer who must be stopped. But now a second mad animal had appeared, one that might be even more dangerous than the Tar Valon witches with their tame, false dragon. But how under the light could he fight both? And Omerta goes,
seems that Queen Zenobia is left Chaldea, my lord, and the dragon sworn are burning and killing across Altara and Burgundy. I've heard the Horn of Valir has been found in Kandar.
And Niall looks up and he's like, why are you standing right the fuck next to me, you sweaty, sweaty man?
Ask more questions. He's hoping that if he breathes on you too hard, you'll die.
Licking his lips and wiping sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand. No doubt he hoped for a glance at what was in the message. Well, everyone would know soon enough. And Niall goes, it seems one of your wilder fancies wasn't so wild after all, Niall said. And that was when he felt the knife go in under his ribs. And you went, God damn it.
Because here's the thing.
Actually, I think he said pause, but
I said pause. And then I said, God damn it. Because here's the thing. Okay, I said from the beginning this was coming. Okay. You know what? Here's the thing. Props to Pedron Niall. Hold on before you get mad. I didn't realize he was 89. He's doing a really good job.
Great job for 89.
Like, I'd be really ready to retire. I mean,
no, I also I thought he was like,
just for reference, like Joe Biden is 82.
Yeah.
Right? He's 82.
Yeah.
That's not the new anything. Like 89, you were ready to like get a blankie and a nap.
I thought Pedron Niall was like 65.
I did too.
Like
so I was
70
like, oh
at the
yeah,
outside.
20 years younger. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
sure.
the minute he said 70 years ago, I was like, how old is this fucker? Holy shit. In which case, you know what? He's just tired. He's doing a great job for 89. 89, he should have been retired 15 years ago.
So
at the minimum.
Omerna's like on the verge of tears, and he goes,
It had to be done. It had to be. You let the witches sit there in Saladar unhindered and...
You couldn't wait 6 months for nature to take its toll?
So Niall falls down, and wine spills everywhere, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? And then the door opens, and...
I'm so sorry, I just can't believe he's that old. I'm just completely shaken by this fact. This is just good. This podcast is now completely derailed by the fact that this man is 89. And they couldn't just throw him a retirement party, give him a watch, and say, have a good day.
Give him a watch.
That's what you do. You just give him a watch. Every company in the world knows how to force out old men. Every company in the world. He couldn't just take a page out of every company in existence, throw a party, slap a watch on him, go, have fun, Grandpa, send him off to bond with the grandkids. What is this? Or just put a little, like, practice sword in his hand and have him like train the new recruits or something. Like just get everyone knows how to handle people who won't retire. What is this? You don't have to stab the guy just to force him out. It's hilarious. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I'm just like there was just an easier way to go about this. But no, this is why we need HR.
So the door gets kicked open, boots thudded across the floor, and he lifted his head wearily to see Omerna gaping and wide-eyed, backing away from Eamon Valda.
Eamon Valda walks in and goes, I told you to throw him a party, not tear him apart.
Every bit as much the picture of a Lord Captain as Omerna.
That knife was for the cake.
In his white and gold tabard and white undercoat, Valda was not so tall, not so plainly commanding, but the dark man's face was hard as ever. And he had a sword in his hands, the heron-mark blade he prized so highly.
Treason!
Valda bellowed and drove the sword through Omerna's chest. Why is this funny to me?
It's funny because he could have just thrown him a retirement party. Why did they have to do this? They did not have to do this. Everyone knows how to get rid of an old man who refuses to retire, except for these chuckle fucks. who just bonered it completely. All they had to do was be like, oh, you like to play chess, Grandpa? How would you like to play chess for the rest of your life? Go do it. Okay. There's just no need. There's just no need to do this. He's 89.
So Niall uses the last of his... That message had to be read. His hands seem to crawl across the floorboards so slowly. And if he thinks it's slow, it must be slow. Brushing the paper.
Because he's 89.
Pushing it as he fumbled to take hold. His vision was growing misty. He tried to force himself to see. He had to... The fog was thicker. Part of him tried to shake that thought. There was no fog. The fog was thicker. And there was an enemy out there, unseen, hidden, as dangerous as Althor or more. The message. What? What message? It was time to mount an outsword. Time for one last attack. By the light, win or die, he was coming! He tried to snarl, and then he just died. Valda wiped his blade on Omerna's... Again, wiping blades on tabards and coats.
Okay, and then he accidentally pulls the thing where the banner comes down and says, surprise!
Then suddenly realized the old wolf still breathed, a rasping, bubbling sound. Grimacing, he bent to make an end, and a gaunt, long-fingered hand caught his arm.
A rasping, bubbling sound is just someone who's 89 trying to breathe.
Would you be Lord Captain Commander now, my son?
Asunawa's emaciated face belonged on a martyr, yet his dark eyes burned with a fervor to unnerve even those who did not know who he was.
You may well be, after I attest that you killed Pedron Niall's assassin, but not if I must say that you ripped open Niall's throat as well.
Valda is like, oh, okay, Mr. Pedantic Dick Shit Fuck Balls Ass Nuts Man. God, I hate you.
Ass Nuts Man.
I don't know.
This podcast is officially the dumbest podcast.
This is the worst episode ever. It's great.
Excuse me, it brought you Pedron Niall's retirement party.
That's what it's called.
It's gonna be called Pedron Niall's
retirement party. They could have bought him a watch. Or should it be called They Could Have Bought Him a Watch? That feels more...
It's gotta be Pedron Niall's retirement party. Everyone will know what we're talking about and then go, those idiots.
Asunawa is like, hey, as a reminder, my one thing, you gotta give me that fucking witch Morgaze so I can I gotta hang a queen, man. That's on my bucket list.
I just don't feel like...
Remember when we dug up that Amerlin's corpse and hanged it?
It's definitely
did that
what
actually
they
happen?
did.
I don't know.
It's definitely what happened. Okay, I believe in the show that the White Cloaks could have hung an Amerlin.
Certainly.
I believe that the White Cloaks of the show could do it. These chuckle fucks, there's no goddamn way. They definitely unburied an Aes Sedai just so they could hang her corpse, so they could say that they hung an Aes Sedai.
You mean exhumed? I like unburied.
Dug up,
Sure?
unburied.
Yeah. I just like
It's a synonym.
All right.
It's a synonym.
And Valda goes, Morgaze is needed yet. And then we get perhaps the least pleasant line in the entire chapter. Ready for the least pleasant line in the entire chapter?
I forget what it was.
After he says, you can't have Morgaze yet.
What?
Breaking in gave Valda considerable pleasure.
What?
I assume that means, like, breaking torture. I don't know, but I don't like it.
Robert, more context is needed.
He did not like questioners, the Hand of the Light, as they called themselves. Who could like men who never met an enemy not disarmed and in chains?
That's real.
Yeah.
Feels like life just got a lot suckier for Morgaze.
Again, every fucking time she is happy or has something going well, we have to take it away. I mean, look, what she
This is just the 2020 of plots.
She breaks out of jail, and then she's saddled with Talonvor. That's unfortunate. And then she gets to this, and then fucking Pedron Niall captures her, and that's too bad. And Talonvor is still there. That's really unfortunate. And then Pater shows up, and Talonvor is still there, and that's, one thing is good. And then Pater fucking dies, and Talonvor is still there, and that's bad. And now she's like, got an in with Pedron, and she signed this deal, so it's gonna work out in the end. And then this happens, and for all we know, Talonvor is still there.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hate this for her.
So he's excited to torture her, I guess.
But she agreed to do what you wanted.
Yeah, but she's still a witch.
Tiresome.
Yeah. So Asuna was like, you're gonna have to let me torture the shit out of her eventually, dude. And then I'm gonna hang the fuck out of her. Okay? But you're gonna have to do that because she was in the White Tower for more than 2 seconds. So we have to hang her now. And
also she weighs more than a duck.
Valda almost laughed. You can examine Morghese, but she is not to be put to the question. You can have her for that when I'm done with her. Which might take a little time. Finding a replacement for the Lion Throne, one who understood her proper relationship to the children as King Ailron did here, would not happen overnight. And then Balwer walks in the door, he's like, oh. And he's like, I brought the cake. I brought the cake. Oh, dear.
He goes, This is an old man myself. This is what the retirement party is.
I found the wire. Oh, shit.
Never mind, I don't want to retire.
And Asunawa goes, a sad day, Master Balwer. The traitor Omerna has slain our Lord Captain Commander Pedron Niall. The light illumine his soul. Lord Captain Valda entered too late to save him, but he did slay Omerna in the full depth of his sin.
Balwer is like, And then Valda, who hates Balwer, goes, since you're here, Balwer, you may as well be useful. Carry this message to each Lord Captain in the fortress. Tell them the Lord Captain Commander has been murdered, and I call for a meeting of the Council of the Anointed. His first act on being named Lord Captain Commander would be to boot the dried-up little man out of the fortress. Boot him so far he bounced twice.
So you do know how to make people retire.
And choose a secretary who did not twitch. Whether Omerna was bought by the witches or the prophet, I mean to see Pedron Niall avenged. And Balwer goes, as you say, my lord. It shall be as you say. And he leaves, and then Valda's like, oh, there's a little piece of paper on the floor. Oh, let's check that shit out. He was reaching for it, so it seems important. And he picks it up.
Oh, this killed me.
The paper had been sitting in a puddle of wine. Whatever had been written on it was lost.
So depressing.
Ugh, I hate this wording.
And the hand will have Morghese when your need for her is done.
And he goes, I will hand you to her myself. Perhaps a little something might be arranged to sate Asunawa's appetite for a while. It might make sure Morghese remained amenable to... Valda dropped the bit of rubbish on Niall's corpse. The old wolf had lost...
Is he going to give, them her friends or
something?
The
old wolf had lost his cunning and his nerve with age, and now it would be up to Eamon Valda to bring the witches and their false dragon to heel.
Please tell me he doesn't give them her friends.
That would be a bummer. We switched to Gawyn. How's Gawyn?
Gawyn sucks per usual.
Yeah. Do we want to talk back about any of that at all? I just feel really bad for Morghese.
I feel like we talked a lot about the Pedron Niall stuff last episode.
Yeah.
This is going to really suck because we're going to have to deal with Eamon Valda in a position of power, and he is an absolute asshole.
Trash bag.
He's a complete trash bag of a person. So that sucks. And we have Elida and Sevanna. So it's just trash. It's just an entire bag of trash bags, under our sink.
So Gawyn thinks about how he wished he could have killed Rand.
Because we're the kind of people that keep bags to make trash bags.
He wished he could have killed Elthor. For his mother. Dead by the man's doing. Egwene denied it. But she had no proof.
And
You
have
also
no
don't have it!
Okay. We broke the microphone. If Min was right, and Elaine loved Althor, then that dreadful fate was reason enough to kill.
What?
Maybe the Aiel had done the work for him. He doubted it, though.
I'll take how to damage your relationship with your sister for 500, Alex.
He's got his fancy looking glass. It has, from Morgase, Queen of Andor, to her beloved son, Gawyn, may he be a living sword for his sister and Andor on it. And he's like, they're both dead. And I was like, dude.
No, neither of them are dead, you dunce. You know what? Even if they were, and you killed Randall Thor, then you just fucked over the entire world.
Gawyn's great. He was a fool. He should have killed Althor. He had to kill him.
I should fuck over the entire world.
But he could not.
Why not?
Not because the man was the dragon reborn, but because he had promised Egwene not to raise a hand against Althor.
Oh, well, if you pinky swore.
He could not break his word, least of all to the woman he loved.
Could you imagine?
Never his word to her.
Could you imagine finding out that the only reason someone's not killing you is because they pinky promised they wouldn't?
To a girl that they kissed?
Once. Twice. Oh, yeah, no. They made out a bunch, actually. Which, man, they're going to make me like him, aren't they?
In the show?
Yeah, they're going to make me like him.
You know what?
There's going to be some steamy makeout sessions between Madeline Madden and whoever they cast as that fucking idiot. And I'm going to be like, all right.
Fine.
All right. It's hot.
He pressed the looking glass to his eye as a woman galloped a tall black horse into the open. He could not make out her face, but no servant would be. So who is it?
Who is who?
Who is this woman that's charging away from Demise Wells on a horse?
Oh, it's Galena.
Galena! There she goes. And then the horse falls. And she gets off the horse. And then there's Aiel charging her. And he's like, oh shit, I hope she's okay. We better go help her out. And then he's hanging out with he goes to the younglings, and he goes up to some of them it's a frat with swords. And he goes, Giselle, we have a sister to pull out of the, and then 100 Aiel just like walk over the hill, and they're like, oh fuck, and then they veil and charge them. And much to your frustration, Gawyn is not brutally killed here.
A pity, really. But I knew it wouldn't be that easy.
He does pretty well.
No, to my annoyance, this kid is going to survive this entire ordeal.
Do you think he dies ever?
No, because there's no justice.
So
I do hope he lives long enough to see that he is a villain.
That would be good.
Do I trust that kind of introspection can come from this man? I don't know. I'm sure eventually he joins Egwene. Because, he's horny for her.
He is. The Aiel kind of cut through them, and some of them died, and then they charge off, and yeah?
I just thought about the fact that, Egwene and Swan are starting to get kind of close, because Swan it's the only person alive who understands what Egwene is going through.
Yeah.
And can actually give her any advice at all. How awkward is that going to be when Gawyn's like, okay, I'm going to be your warder now, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then, Swan's hanging out with her all the time, and it's going to be so awkward, because he's going to be like, hey, listen, seriously, my bad.
He let her go. He helped her escape.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Does not matter. He played a significant part in her being axed.
So some of the younglings try to chase the Aiel, and Gawyn goes, hold! No pursuit! Hold, I said! Hold, burn you! And then Giselle is like, oh yeah, there they go. And Gawyn goes, forget them. That sister is waiting for us. Hal, keep your half-troop to look after the wounded. And watch those Aiel. Just because they're dying doesn't mean they've quit. The rest, follow me. And then he's like, oh, well, she's gone. Her clothes are also gone.
She got taken Gaishane, for sure.
We'll search after we see to the wounded. And then he turns around. He's like, let's figure out how many people died. Because, 3/5 of the younglings died at Demise Wells.
Jesus.
Which, we make fun of the younglings. They are all 17.
They're not even.
Some of them are 14.
They were Pedron Niall's age 40,000 years ago.
You always had to pay the butcher. He had a feeling there would be bigger bills due soon. The The world would forget Demise Wells and what was coming. That's the end of the prologue. It was a 56-page prologue, and this book is... How long is this one? This one is 856 pages.
So we're a good bit through.
We're a good 0.6% through the book. No.
0.6%?
Sorry, 6% through the book.
I was going to say that doesn't make any sense.
I forgot how numbers work.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, folks. If you want to know what we're up to, we've got social media. You can also leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever else, which helps a lot. And if you want to, you can check out our Patreons, patreon.com/wheeltakes. I did those out of order, and it's confusing me. Anything else, Sally?
Happy retirement. We're happy for you retiring. Happy retirement is a happy day because you're retiring. Oh no, you got stabbed.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for listening. This was Wheel Takes with Allie and Gus. Music by Alexander Nakarada.